I've been working on this styrofoam drawing throughout the day. Primarily working on it ever since I woke up around 5 p.m. after falling asleep in the afternoon. Somewhere between noon and 1 p.m., I would say. And then the earlier period of work, it was primarily from, I would say, roughly 6 in the morning to about 11 in the morning. What makes this so difficult is that it's not making a particular person or character anymore in this case. It's more like making a landscape. Thing is, I have to ultimately decide what things to put in to fill the landscape so that it has plenty of detail and things to look at. I don't know if moss grows on something that's vertical, but I figured I would just give this area next to the sort of campsite with no visible people and a pond, these sort of vines growing downward. Dad suggested I draw in a mountain goat for the mountain area. At this point, I would say that maybe technically it's no longer mostly mountains. I ultimately decided to draw in the train station. I had to use an ultra-fine Sharpie marker to draw a train station. I was just barely able to fit the text in by being careful, and then I had to use, I believe, another ultra-fine Sharpie marker, this dark gray one, and go around the marker made using the ultra-fine yellow Sharpie marker. I'm currently in the process of drawing in the train station building itself. Here, I'm probably going to most likely draw in a train. I drew a bat because it's next to a cave entrance. I decided to make an attempt to mimic cave art that was created thousands of years ago. I primarily got the idea of what stuff looks like by searching it through Bing Images. Though I already had an idea of what cacti look like and what a tumbleweed looks like. For this desert area, I'm planning on doing one of those iconic skulls, or at least I'm going to try to do that. And maybe some kind of an oasis or something. First order of business, though, is to finish drawing in the details of the train station before I finish this dock/pond area with the water lilies and the lily pads and this wooden boat with 2 oars or paddles. I also put rocks, put this path in the pine tree forest and littered the ground with pine tree bristles. I opted not to put in purple, raspberry colored dots to represent flowers. I'm not sure if that grows in a pine tree forest. I put in this cobblestone path, marshmallows, graham crackers, dropped leaves, a little pond, a waterfall, a crow. And these are most of the Sharpie markers I use to draw all of these various things. This upcoming styrofoam drawing, which I should be able to finish it in time. It's about 10:08 p.m. I was initially concerned that maybe I wouldn't be able to finish it in time because I thought Grandma's dad's mom birthday party, we would have to go to it in the morning. Yeah, but it turns out we actually go kind of at night after Dad gets back from work as a mailman. Well, which varies from late afternoon to late evening, or even early night, depending on if he gets overtime. And whether he decides to go to Salvatore's or to Wegmans afterwards in order to get food. In this case, Dad went to Salvatore's and got this pasta dinner special. Penne with pesto and meatballs, I believe. Yeah. Cut up meatballs. I initially planned on having the sandwiches Dad made in the morning around noon. And the goulash soup at 2 p.m. roughly. But because I fell asleep, I ended up having those sandwiches around 5 p.m. and the goulash soup around 2:30 p.m. I microwaved the goulash soup for 2 minutes, and because it was kind of big, it didn't seem warm enough to my liking when I touched the food with my fingers, so I then went and microwaved it for, I think it was an additional 20 seconds. And then I felt satisfied. It's a pretty healthy dish. Seems to have a lot of vegetables and not that many carbs to it. You need some carbs, but it's better to have your diet be a whole lot more protein and healthy fats. I got this burning pool building from the new episodic event that's currently ongoing. I use a simple division equation in order to determine which chest gives me the most feathers for the least magic gems. And I choose the chest based on which one is the most efficient. I'm not exactly in a dire need for new buildings because a considerable number of them are already on the current chapter I'm at. Obviously not all of them. Although I don't really want to get rid of this Everblossom Sleigh building, even though it's somewhat outdated, because it gives me these 3-point ancient knowledge packs, which I can then use to either upgrade my ancient wonders or put them into my fellow fellowship members' ancient wonders, although I generally don't do that. Generally, I use the knowledge points I get either naturally or from tournaments or from neighborly help, tournament encounters, in order to donate into ancient wonders. I do know that it's ultimately better to help with your neighbor's ancient wonders, since that way you can get runes for those ancient wonders and then use them to be able to fill the rune circle again, which you need to do every 5th level you reach after 1. So to get this Dwarven Bulwark to 6, I had to fill the rune circle and we'll have to do so again when it's to get it to level 11, then 16, then 21, then 26. I'm not so sure about getting this building. I could use it to replace the flying boat, just like I used this building to replace the spot of whispering trees. It's just that, to an extent, I concern myself with how my city in Elvenar looks. I want to try to include a bit of each race's culture. In this city. Even though the tendency is for the previous guest race to leave your city when you reach a new chapter. That's how it's been for the past few chapters. I know from flipping through this game's wiki basically a Wikipedia series of articles related to just that game. I know that at some point in this game, maybe around here. All of the guest races come together and rejoin within your city in Elvenar. And they definitely team up by this point, but I am currently here, and I still have a ways to go. I may ultimately decide to use this city expansion in order to place the new evolvable building that I got for this event. Yeah, I recall just getting it as a summoning. The Twilight Phoenix. Yeah, I didn't have to complete any task sets or even have to claim it. I just got it right off the bat just for being there, running this game in the background. On the day the event started. There's the mysterious Cyclone. It's a bit of a concern with trying to maintain elven culture, as the culture of more and more races are introduced. This one has to do with basically magic users, some of who turn themselves into dragons. I haven't researched this game's lore that much. Typically, I go on the wiki every now and then for things such as finding out exactly how big the next set of Ancient Wonders are going to be, since the game doesn't tell you that until you're all ready to build them, essentially. After you've unlocked the Ancient Wonders through technology research, then you research the Ancient Wonders. No, wait, you do that after you build them. You unlock them through this research tree, and then you fill the rune circle. For new Ancient Wonders, I typically do that through broken shards. If you collect 10 of them, you can exchange them for a rune shard you don't already have for the circle. For an Ancient Wonder of your choice. I have a goal to build every available Ancient Wonder in my city. And generally, I've been able to build the previous chapter's Ancient Wonders before unlocking the current chapter's Ancient Wonders. I would certainly appreciate an Ancient Wonder that both makes me produce more mana and causes it to decay less. That'll be useful for the next chapter when I have to start concerning myself with divine seeds. By the way, to avoid selling this spot of Whispering Trees building, even though I could easily build it again, I used one of these in order to teleport the building back into my inventory. Throughout the day, there were at least a few periods where I kind of relaxed for some minutes and enjoyed the day, which included periods of laying on Dad's bed with my mobile phone, watching / listening to videos such as Brain Pop's video on the topic of painting. Brain Pop's videos with Tim and Moby, the series for them, they call them the subtitle, The Mysteries of Life. Their videos typically get set for kids. They're typically seen on the YouTube Kids app. If I recall correctly, at least that painting video was. Though the afternoon nap was done on my bed, on the bottom bunk in the spare room, from 1 p.m. at the latest to about 5 p.m. 5 p.m. was the time I woke up. I also got at least 2 robocalls, but then I got a call from the American Red Cross regarding the potential for a platelet donation, which I would like to do at some point, maybe next week. Except because they all use the same area code, or they just show the number, robocalls tend to be, in a way, indistinguishable from calls I might want to answer, such as those from the American Red Cross. Except when the American Red Cross call was made, the female volunteer had a bad connection, and so, or something, she ended up having some difficulty in hearing my voice through the other end of the call. Yeah, but the call was still completed.